It was serious hoopla inside the Blockbuster Simmons Harden trade that will destroy NBA. Ben Simmons is on the move. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news on Friday morning, revealing that Simmons is on his way to Brooklyn along with Seth Curry, Andre Drummond and 2 first-round picks. Brooklyn, meanwhile, is including Paul Millsap in the deal along with superstar James Harden. Watch the 21/22 NBA season with ESPN on Kayo. Live coverage every week plus every game of the NBA Finals. New to Kayo? Start your free trial. Read more talking points. Simmons the sacrificial lamb as 364-minute reality exposes Nets. While there had been plenty of talk of a potential Simmons Harden trade this week, Wojnarowski reported it got real on Friday morning. The Nets will get the Sixers' 2020 first-round pick unprotected with a right to defer until 2023 and a 2027 first-round pick protected 1-8, Adrian Wojnarowski reported. The 2027 pick would roll over to 2028 protected 1-8 again. The pick turns into 2 seconds and $2 million in 2029. The Nets are including Paul Millsap in the deal too, sources tell ESPN. Wojnarowski then revealed the Nets plan to use the first-round picks to make more moves before the deadline closes. He also later tweeted that Simmons has already talked to Kevin Durant and Sean Marks, eager to join his new team. "We've got to work to do to get him back to play, but it's a great step in right direction," Simmons agent Rich Paul said. Appearing on NBA Today, Wojnarowski said both teams had been actively negotiating ahead of the deadline, with disagreements over the extra pieces that could be added to a deal. The Sixers had been adamant to raise Maxey and Matisse Thybulle were not available, and it seemed like the latter's inclusion could be key to getting a deal done. Instead, both sides were able to agree to a blockbuster deal that will shake up the NBA. Later on Friday, NBA insider Chris Haynes provided more insight into the inner workings of the deal on Harden and his manager's side. "I don't know if they knew for sure he'd get traded, but obviously they knew things were in the works for a few days now," he told NBA on TNT. "I was around this Nets team for the last few weeks. They kept downplaying the fact that Harden didn't want to leave, even though everyone was feeling otherwise. That was a talking point that they were trying to relay to everybody and downplaying all the hoopla that was coming out. But it was serious hoopla. James did want out, he just didn't feel the fit was right for his talents at that time. He felt like this is the best move for him and his career at this time." Harden had long been considered one of Philadelphia's top targets in any potential Simmons trade alongside Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal. It is quite the transformation for Philadelphia, who will now have one of the league's best 1-2 punchers in Harden and Embiid. Given Embiid's strengths in the post and Harden's lethal threat in isolation, the Sixers should not have too many problems putting up points. While there could be concerns about Harden's willingness to let the offense run through Embiid, it seems he was growing tired of having to carry the burden at Brooklyn. But with Simmons no closer to returning to the court and Embiid in his prime, the Sixers simply felt they needed to make a move now in a bid to win the title. There were differing views in the NBA world on just how successful it will be. "Frankly, I think waiting to trade for James Harden this summer would be a terrible trade and a terrible idea," Tim Bontemps said on the Low Post podcast. "I think it is insane that they might wait to do that." James Harden went to 2 for 11 last night against the Kings and scored 4 points, and they lost to the Kings. James Harden does not look like a top 10 player in the world anymore. He doesn't look like a guy that I want to be paying $50 million when he's 36. Kendrick Perkins though boldly declared the Harden-Embiid duo will destroy the NBA. Both Philadelphia and Brooklyn are in contention for the title despite the latter dropping 9 straight games to fall into 8th place in the Eastern Conference. Harden had forced his way out of the Houston Rockets in a 4-team megadeal at the start of the 2021 season, seeing him join Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving's at the Nets. It was a stunning power move that seemed destined to end with Brooklyn taking out the championship, but early chemistry issues and injury concerns complicated matters. Most recently, Durant has been dealing with a left knee injury while Irving is only a part-time player due to his refusal to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Reports suggested that played into Harden's growing frustrations at Brooklyn given he had signed up to be part of a title contender. Instead, he found himself as the centerpiece of an underperforming squad with uncertainty surrounding its two other biggest names. Simmons should be a brilliant fit in Brooklyn.